Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Harrison here from Lens Media, here with another tutorial. This time I'm going to kind of cover the importance of MIDI with Ableton. It might sound like a no-brainer for those of you who have been producing for a while, but what I talk about the importance of MIDI is maybe kind of making your workflow a little bit easier for you. I know sometimes what I like to do is, when I'm working on a drum pattern or something like that, it might not be something that I end up using right away. It might be something that kind of gets put off to the side, and instead of just deleting it and getting rid of all the drum patterns and everything else, you can start to kind of build yourself a nice little portfolio of just like use your drum pad and just come up with some different ideas for beats and styles and everything like that, and then just save them, and keep them in a folder, keep them organized. So maybe the next time you're working on a melody and you're like, I don't know what kind of drum pattern I want, or you're like, oh, this sounds like everything else that I've done before, just go back to those drum packs that you made with the MIDI and use those. And so I'm going to kind of show you what I mean. So drop over, drum rack. I'm going to delete all of this. Shift, delete. Okay, so what's awesome is I have already been making myself some MIDI packs, and I'll organize everything. Open hats, kicks, claps, everything. So, this one is in the 90 BPM tempo. I'm going to jump in here to like the 120. The 120 is kind of a lot more interesting. So I'll make a clap pattern, and I'll start here. I'll go over to drum packs. By the way, the Traj 10 packs, this is a buddy of mine that I work with. We co-produce a lot of stuff together, and we also both do sound design. So these packs, everything that you hear in here is stuff that he made, and we kind of go back and forth and share packs. Let's say I like that. I can drag, drop on the C1. I'll go over here, Southern Clap. This is a pattern that I made. So as you can see, it's already in here. Now, when you make your, when you're making your MIDI, try to use the same, what's the word I'm looking for? The same note. Okay, so like right here, I dropped it on a C sharp because I use the C sharp for a lot of my stuff. So when I made my pack, I'll drop it on the C sharp. Now, it's not going to ruin it if it's on a different note or whatever. I just try to keep them uniform. It makes it easier because now it automatically snaps onto the grid. So I have my clap. Go into my kick. Okay, I'm getting a little bit of feedback here, because I have my Sapphire. The problem is it doesn't sync properly. Like the video recorder won't let me use my actual Sapphire. Now you're gonna be a pain. So high quality. Up the sample rate. That sounds a lot better. Okay, so say I like that kick. Double click on here, drop the kick in. I'll go back. I'm like, kicks that I've already made. So, and this is the reason why I talk. Okay, so sometimes I'll make like a triplet kit, and these are kind of hard to make. So when you're working on them, now it was in a different note. So I'll just click here, Control A, bring it down. So we'll switch out the kicks. the cool part about this is, say, once you build your kit, right, and you want to just switch, a few things up, different variations, or you want to go completely different, I can come over here, drag over completely different style, drop it onto this. Now these are all, patterns that I made by, just kind of drumming on the drum pad and then coming through. Or say, you don't have a drum pad, you just want to come in and, double click and add everything you can. I suggest if you're going to make drum packs or drum loops or hi-hats, especially hi-hats, those are, a huge pain when you're doing hip hop. And just constantly, okay, click, 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 or, tapping on the drum pad, whatever you want to do. So once you make them, I always recommend put them in an 8-bar loop. That way you get a nice variation. And that's the little triplet grid right there. Now, what's another thing? So for this third rack, I'm just going to add hi-hats. Just for the hell of it. Drag it on my C sharp. Go back over. I'll double click into hi-hats. I just have crazy names for things sometimes. So same thing. Control A. Put it into the note. So we'll change that. So now it's something that's different. Say I want to use this one. I'll drag it over, drop it under. Same thing. Control A. So you could see you could do any, doesn't matter what kind of music you're working on. If you're doing, EDM, if you're doing, trap, if you're doing hip hop, if you're doing techno, trance, whatever, you can build, these MIDI. I'm going to go really in depth about MIDI, about the power of MIDI with Ableton. This is just going off of what you can do as far as percussion goes. You're going to really want to use your MIDI when it comes to building tracks. I'm going to do a couple tutorials later about chord progressions or maybe, triads and different notes and different kinds of chords that you can use, and go into a little bit of theory about how to use those. But this is just showing you, okay, you can build a portfolio. And right now, I'm in 120. I'm pulling from my 120, and you can give or take. You don't have to be exactly on 120. I'd say if you're building in 120 and you want to slow things down, that works just fine. Obviously, when you go up a little bit faster, I would suggest if you're going up 20, then if you're going up 20 or whatever, just kind of build your MIDI within, 20 BPM ranges, 20 below, 20 over, and just kind of do things that you like. So if you're typically like to use in like a 135 range, build some kits in a 135 range. If you work a lot in 95, build a bunch of kits in a 95 range. Do hi-hats, do open hats, do kicks, drums, even snares, your ending snare rolls, whatever you want to do. This way, when you start working and say you get stumped on a pattern, or you're like, oh, you know what, that one that I made a couple of weeks ago was awesome. Let me go ahead and actually use it in a song. So after, let's say that I built this, right? And I went over and I clicked and I put everything in here, and this is my claps, right? So everything's built. The next thing you want to do to make your MIDI is just right click and export MIDI clip. Once you export your MIDI clip, I suggest, just make a folder, and what is this? So 120, and let's see, claps, and then you just name it whatever. You name it, a bunch of numbers, hit save, and now this clap sequence that you made, let's go 120 claps, there it is. It's that simple. Obviously, I'm going to delete it. It's just as a demonstration. So it doesn't necessarily save what it is. Actually, what it'll do is if you rename and you go kick, or no, not kicks, clap, seek one, save that, and then you go export to clip, it's gonna save it that way. And if you save it here, come back over, drag, highlight it, it's actually gonna save it as that. So I didn't know that when I first started making these drum packs, but that's, I might even go back through and rename everything, but that's how you can save everything, and you can keep it all organized and do that. Keep it organized, be creative, work in different tempos. And I mean, you could do this with everything. Right now I'm just going to cover, I'm just covering the drum and the percussions and everything like that. But I'll have another tutorial coming up here pretty soon. And just get creative. Use the MIDI for, your use of power. And I think that pretty much covers it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. You guys make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. I have lots of other tutorial videos on the page already, so just go ahead, check some of those out. Maybe there might be something in there to help you guys. I also do music videos and different work like that. If that's something that you're interested as well, go ahead and check out that playlist that I have on there, and you guys have a good night.